Bear team meetings. We provided in every contract money for Bear team meetings. Some counties have actually been doing very well at that. They're having their team meetings every couple of weeks or every month, and so we want every county or every institution who is doing the Bear visits, the Bear program, to hold Bear team meetings, and we put information about that in the RFP as well as in the contract on suggestions and recommendations on who would be the who would consist the Bear team, and the things that you can discuss during the meeting. So we gave money for that. When you hold your meetings, be sure to list that there, and so we know that it's being done on a consistent basis. So that's the quarterly report form. Like I said, painfully easy. Be sure every quarter to fill that out. And on the contract here, we've listed the dates on when we would like to receive the reports from you. For example, the first quarter is due September 30th, December 31st. So of course, this is the end of every quarter. Be sure to get your quarterly reports in on time, so we can guarantee that you will receive funding for the work you did in the previous quarter. So be sure to get that in on time. Also, I'd like to mention the success stories. I think that's a very important part of the Bear program that we are pushing now. Like I said, we like to show our superiors here at GOED the results of the Bear program, and success stories is probably the best way to do that. So with this contract, we're giving $500 per quarter, up to $500, I should say. I apologize for that. To grant recipients who submit a success story, up to 5 success stories. Success stories awards may be made at 6-month intervals, and so that's to the discretion of the states, and it will be selected. Those who receive the money will be selected based on the outcomes and results, things like that.
This is Linda. I just want to clarify that just a little bit. We're trying to have just some healthy competition. So we are going to pick 5 or 6 a semester, so 2 quarters, twice a year, that will pay $500 for the best of the best. But we are going to try to compensate each of the success stories that come in. So it'll be worth your time to actually take the time to do that. And it's something that you'll be able to show your commissioners or other leaders, people in your group, so that they understand locally what a difference you're making in your community as well. So hopefully this is, it's not make work and you don't have to do it, but I think it'll help us sell the Bear program at the county level, at the GOED level, and also at the legislative level. Our programs, anything that costs money in the state is always under review, and so this helps us keep our programs healthy and strong.
Excellent. John, you had a question. Go ahead and ask your question.
Well, if you do something late in a quarter, is it okay to fold it over to the next quarter, or should you submit for that quarter? Say you do something on the 29th and you don't have time to get it in on the 30th. Is it okay to fold it into the next quarter?
Yes, of course. Just whenever you turn them in.
Okay. Thank you.
Do I have any other questions on the Bear form? Any other questions on the Bear form? I've unmuted everyone.
Hey Dan, this is Jordan. Are you going to email that form out to us?
Yeah, I'll send that form out to I have a list of Bear contacts, so I'll send that to everyone.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. Any other questions? If not, I'll mute everyone again.
Dan, this is Len Erickson. Are we just going to send those to you directly?
Yeah,
Success stories.
Yeah. Send all those things to me. You can CC Linda and Jake on that if you like, just to make sure that we all have it. But definitely go ahead and send that to me.
Hey, Dan, can it be scanned and emailed? Is that what you're saying, or do we need to mail it?
Well, this form here, you can go ahead and just fill it out and then email over to me. But all the other supporting documents like receipts, if you can scan those in, go ahead and scan those in and send over to me. Agendas, list of attendees, if you have those electronics, you can send those to me via email. If you don't have them electronically and if you can't scan them in, you can go ahead and mail them to me. Just send me an email saying it's in the mail, especially if you're sending it in later in the quarter and it won't get to me until the next month. Be sure to let me know, hey, it's in the mail and it's headed my way. Do I have any other questions? All right, I'll go ahead and mute everyone again. Like I said, if when you're muted, if you have a question, be sure to put it in chat, and I'll unmute you if we need to discuss it. If not, I can answer it directly, or someone can answer it directly. All right. That being said, let us move on to Matt Holton with the Utah Manufacturers Association. All right, Matt, I've got you unmuted.
Okay, perfect. Thank you guys for having me here. I'll just take a couple minutes and share what the Utah Manufacturers Association has been developing for the last couple of years, and a tool that is definitely going to be of big use to most of the manufacturers that you meet with who are really trying to grow their business and get further work. One of the best examples of this is L3 Communications is a very well-known company in the state, large company, does a lot of work in defense, and thus they have pretty high security protocol. And so if you go to their front desk and you try to speak to somebody, it's nearly impossible. A lot of these manufacturers would love the opportunity to be able to talk to someone there, but it's very difficult. And so the UMA has put together this Utah Capabilities Assessment Network to really link the small guys with the big guys, and give every manufacturer an opportunity to at least see what work is out there, and be able to place a bid on that work. A lot of these larger companies as well do work with manufacturers in other states just because they happen to run across them, and they've been doing work with them for the last 20 years. But you ask any of them if they could find someone here locally and bring back all of the work here in the state and cut their travel costs, their lead times, they definitely would do so. And so that we created this Capability Assessment Network, and I'm guessing everyone can see my screen. Is that correct?
Yeah. I gave you the presenter role, so everyone can see your screen.
Fantastic. I'm just going to use Central Valley Machine as an example. You go into the Capabilities Assessment Network and it pops up your own company's profile. Here is where you're going to put in basic information about your company, your address, your city, your phone number, your primary NAICS code, square footage, employee count, sales volume, a web address, just basic front store information. You then go and you can click on your processes. Here you can see Central Valley Machine. 3 pages of processes. You then go to equipment, and there are 2 pages of equipment. Certifications, both of their certifications there. You go back to general info just to see if you can find out some additional information from them. There's web content. They have a YouTube page, which is fantastic. Here, they're using this as an additional tool to introduce themselves to a company who maybe has never heard about them before. And here you can see they've got a really cool video introducing themselves.
I'm Brett Worson. I'm president of Central Valley Machine. I've worked here my entire life.
And they then have a little aerial
10
view
million
of their
dollars
machine
worth of
shop.
equipment here in this facility to do manufacturing with. We have a full range of machines where we can do.
Now, you may look at that and think, some of these smaller companies I'm working with do not have the capability to do something like that. I think more and more of these companies are starting to see that it's not that expensive to do, to create some additional materials to give a better introduction to yourself, and that it's also needed, and something that most companies are now doing today. So a great thought, a message that you can definitely pass along. So if I'm a company and I'm wanting to just find somebody, I can use any of this criteria that you see in front of you to find a company. Processes, I can do it by process, I can do it by equipment, I can do it by certification. So how to find Central Valley Machine? I went to processes and I clicked on machining. Click search. Okay, and there are 5 pages of of companies who have a NAICS code or a process that is related to machining. Okay, now if I'm going to, let's say I do machining and I do certification, AS9100. Let's do a search. All right, see, it took it down to 12 results. Those are companies who have gone into the system and they have said that they are certified, that they have AS9100 as a certification, and they're a machine shop. So how a company that has work that they want to outsource, they would basically go to their bid manager, they would create a new bid, they'd put a bid number, title, end date, start date, requirements, they'd upload a file if there's any drawings, and they can have a non-disclosure agreement if they want to, but they then create the bid. And when they create the bid, it basically takes them to this page right here, and this is where they're going to narrow down what company they want. Now, they could just do any company in Logan if they wanted to. It's up to them. A lot of our companies, we're asking them to send it to everybody, because we want a lot of these smaller manufacturers to see that if you want to do work for L3 Communications, you need to have this specific criteria. And if they don't have a certain certification, you guys and the UMA can help them get that certification through using MEP or other organizations to help them attain that and qualify for additional work. It's super, super straightforward. You basically have company info. You then can search for other companies. You then can go to your bid manager, and this is where you would see bid opportunities. You'd basically get an email in your inbox saying there's a new bid, and then you just go to bid manager and you'd see what the bid is and the details. And if you feel like that's something that you could, put a bid in for, then the contact information's there, who to contact, and it's pretty straightforward. If you feel like that's not a job that you are capable of doing, but you're 90% there, some companies actually take on the job and then outsource the additional 10%, or some companies say, we should definitely step up our game. This is an area that we've known that we needed to improve on, but just by seeing the available work out there and what we're not getting, now it's enough of a motivation for us to improve just a little bit, be it getting a certain process, a certain machine, or a certain certification. Either way, I think it helps educate companies. And hey, you ask any of these companies, would you like to pay, and I know that you guys are helping with a scholarship program, but would you be willing to pay $330 to be able to get work, to be able to at least see what jobs are out there from some of these huge companies? I mean, we haven't met anyone that has said no yet. It's a pretty big deal at a very insignificant cost, and something that you guys definitely have seen the vision of and are willing to help these guys out with the scholarship, which we appreciate, and I know that they appreciate, and I think we've gotten a couple that have already jumped on. So anyway, any questions? It's very simple, not too in-depth. I can answer any question that you guys have and see if I can help at all.
Matt, I have a question. I've had a couple people contact me and they think it's only for manufacturing companies. Could you kind of give an idea of what types of companies are participating with this program?
Sure, absolutely. Okay, so it is for manufacturers. That is absolutely true. Now we're looking at creating a different portion of the site because there's a need out there for people who provide a service or people who at least can provide materials. Now it is definitely geared right now for manufacturers. If you have a process where you can actually manufacture something, then you're perfect. I mean, it can be anything from powder coating, from painting. It can be from cabling. It can be, you know, software, whatever. I mean, that's all manufacturing. So, you know, some companies that are actually in the can, there's a company that does a lot of aerospace stuff, and they do some consulting. They actually, in one area of their company, they do some cabling, and so they're in there, and that's probably 10% of their business. But as long as they have something, then it makes sense for them. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thanks, Matt.
Matt, this is Jake.
It is right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Matt, this is Jake. I was just going to say, can you just talk about the process of what if you know, those that are on this call find a company that they think would work for this CAN network? Can you explain to them kind of the process of what the next steps are?
Absolutely. Why don't we do this? If you find a company that makes sense, email me, and I will set up a meeting for my regional guy to go down to that company and bring them membership information, go through the entire process. Now, if you feel like you've got someone that's interested and they just need a little more information about the association, I'm happy to have a regional guy go down there. If you feel like they're in, they want to sign up, all they really have to do is just call our office, and they can sign up in 5 minutes. And then they just need to say, hey, I'm doing this for the CAN. They'll then get a login for the CAN, and then I'm happy to set up, either meet with them in person or set up a conference call and give them training on the CAN and help them build their page. So again, if they're not sure if they want to join and you feel like it's worth it, I can have a regional guy go down there and kind of give the spiel on the association. If they're ready to join and they see the vision there, then they can just call, they can pay for the, join the association, and then one of you guys just reach out to me and we can set up a training session for the CAN via video or in person.
Matt, I just want to clarify, if a company is charged by level of employment, and so this $330 would be companies with less than 50 employees, I think, is that right?
So it actually is, so it is 1 to 35 employees is $330. Employees 36 to 60 would be $385.
Okay, that's wonderful. And then if they sign up, so when they're actually signing up for two things. By signing up for the UCAN network, you also automatically are a member of UMA for that year. Is that correct?
That's 100% correct. And there's multiple things that these guys can benefit from. I really want you guys to. We've been around 110 years, and our focus has always been to bring value. But while we bring value, we want to make sure that we're bringing quality products and member savings that actually pay for their membership, so it actually doesn't cost them anything. 40% of our members take advantage of a 5% discount on their workers' comp insurance. If they have any, and this is any company, they don't even have to be a manufacturer, but if a company has workers' comp insurance through the state workers' comp fund, and they become a member of the association, they get 5%. So Blue Chip Food Group just joined. They pay us $600 a year in membership, yet they saved $15,000 on their workers' comp. We also have a group insurance plan for manufacturers, which a lot of companies are signing up for because it saves them a ton of money. So they can join the association, they can get on the can, but if we can get them to get a discount on workers' comp or do group insurance, then that $330 the next year, and I know that you guys are worried about, if they're going to continue it, and the scholarship program's really there to get them in, and hopefully they can then stay and benefit. But if we can get them on those two things, the cost then becomes void at that point. So something to think about.
Matt, there are a couple of questions down in the chat part. We have one from Shayla Hurlbut from Morgan City. It says, what about payment? Could they just pay $30 and then the county pay $300? And then there's another one from Paul Davis. Where do we get a list of current members?
Okay, so a list of current members. I will have to approach our board. We have a board meeting here shortly. They've always, for some reason, and I think it's just one of those things that has existed forever, and I know you guys kind of understand how that works, that we only give out a list of members who and say, hey, this company is requesting it. Are we okay to give out a list? And I think it's because there's been let me get back to you about the list. It'll take like a day, so it's not a long process, but let me get back to you there. In regards to payment, what makes sense to you guys? I mean, if you have the company pay us the portion that they owe, and then you have this, you guys with your scholarship, is that something that's very easy for you guys to just call in and pay with like a credit card number? Or do you guys usually send in a check? I mean, I guess I need to understand your guys' process a little more.
Okay, the way that the counties would get reimbursement is we'll need to either have access to the UCAN or have Teresa send us each quarter, send us a list of people who actually put their company on, and filled out their profile. And so when we get that list, then we can reimburse the counties for the $300. How the counties handle that with their businesses, it's however you want to sell it. If you have enough in your budget to pay that $300 up front and they pay $30, whatever you choose. But it seems like if people have some input, they have a buy-in to it. If they put money into something, they own it and they want to see it successful. And $330 or even $380 is pretty small. I mean, just getting an ad in a newspaper is expensive, and so this is such a small cost for such a huge service.
Yeah.
So if I were in a county, I'd probably let the businesses do it on their own, just knowing that they would get that $300 rebate afterwards. But again, that's up to the individual counties and their programs.
If there's a huge objector, then we can address it. I mean, if we could, I think you're spot on. I think if the company could just pay it, I mean, most of these machine shops should have $330 that they can spend, and then they just get reimbursed through you guys. If that's a possibility, that's definitely something that we'd want to do. But again, if there's a big objection to that, then we can address it. Any thoughts about that, or is that something that we could move forward with?
Matt, I think that's great. Could you maybe, in the chat line, could you put what your contact information is? Maybe your email or however you want people to get in touch with you, and then if they think of questions later, they could send you an email.
Yes, absolutely. So let me just type my email address in there. And it's matt@umaweb.org. I did send down to one of your guys' offices a bunch of potential member packets. So I don't know if those have been dispersed as of yet, but we sent down a pretty good amount of them. And basically, it breaks down the association into 6 categories: government relations, education, networking, member savings, Made in Utah, and UCAN. And so UCAN, again, is one small portion of our entire association. So hopefully you guys have those in hand and you can use that as recruiting material to also explain other parts of the association. And we're happy to help in any way. If you have questions, email me. Again, if no one's that familiar with the association, I'm happy to give you a bigger picture of what we do. But in regards to this topic in the UCAN, that's pretty much it.
So this is Jake. I've got those membership packets, and I will be passing those out a little bit at the Train the Trainer, but I also can make those available via email anytime. So maybe what we'll do is later today we'll have Dan email out the UMA brochure and application packet so everyone can take a look at it, and then if you have any questions, you can let us know.
Yeah, I'll send that out with that the bear form and everything. So I'll keep an eye out for that today.
And the packets that I sent down to you guys, I believe, did you guys get? And you may not have looked in the back. We have 3 regional directors, and so in the back of each packet, one should be Steve Segmiller, one should be Steve Thomas, and one should be Bob Reed. Depending on the area and the state. If you don't have those, I'm happy to at least share the information so that you guys know, who's the regional director in your area.
Okay, thanks, Matt.
Absolutely. Is there anything else? Okay.
All right. Okay, we'll move on. I see Don Albrecht is signed on. Don, are you going to be presenting on ASAP today?
Don, you're muted right now, so we can't hear you if you're saying anything. Don, can you hear me?
Okay, maybe, Dan, do you have Don's phone information? Can you call him and try to work that out?
No, I don't have his phone number, I don't think.
Let's see if I do. Okay, I've got Don's mobile, and I'll get that to Dan, and then maybe while he's trying to work that out, I will move to the calendar items. Okay, so while Dan's calling Dawn to get that set up, the dates that I think would be of interest, the next Governor's Rural Partnership Board meeting is November 10th from 9 to noon at Canyonlands Room at the GOED office. And we're also going to try to make it so that we can have people phone in. And we'll let you know more about that as we get closer to that. And then the Rural Legislative Day is going to be on January 29th. And we're doing that with UAC again. Last year we had the best turnout, not just of counties and members of UAC, but also of legislators. Combining like that really did help both organizations. And then maybe I'll turn it over to Jake for a minute. Jake, do you want to talk about Train the Trainer and give those dates so people can see when it will be in their area?
Yeah, so Train the Trainer is coming up quickly. Our first Train the Trainer event will be next week. So if you're not totally aware of what that is, basically what the Train the Trainer series will be is we are going to bring down about a dozen state and federal agencies that are going to go and do 6 different regional conferences throughout the state. What we're going to do is each agency is going to stand up and give a quick elevator pitch about what they do for just a couple of minutes, and then we're going to break off into speed dating. So we'll break the county attendees up into groups so you'll be in your own little county groups based on your county obviously, and you'll go to sit down with one of these state agencies for about 7 to 10 minutes, and you'll just chat about what that agency has to offer and specifically what they can do in your county, what companies they've already worked with, what programs are available, and then how you as county members and business resources can help get those programs out and about to as many people as possible and as many companies as possible. After you meet with one company, for 7 to 10 minutes, you'll move on to the next agency, and we'll just do that speed dating session until everyone has had a chance to speak with every agency that's there. So we're hoping it'll be a great way to build some good personal relationships, to get a good, quick, general understanding of what programs are available, and then also to be able to understand better how to promote those programs and make sure companies have the most access possible to everything that's available. Because I mean, there's all these programs available, but if nobody knows about them, they're useless. So we're going to try and get those out. So the first one will be next week in Richfield on October 1st, and that will be for the 6-county region. So we're basing this off of associations of government. So the 6-county region will be October 1st in Richfield. The 5-county region in southwest Utah will be on October 21st. So that would be Washington Iron, Beaver, Kane, Garfield. November 5th will be the Bragg region up in Logan. So that would be Rich, Cache, and Box Elder on November 5th. Then we'll go to the southeast region with San Juan, Grand, Emery, and Carbon on November 13th, and that will be in Green River. Then we will go to the Uinta Basin on December 2nd. That will be Duchesne, Uinta, and Daggett on December 2nd in Vernal. And on December 11th, we will do we call it the Salt Lake region. So it would be Wasatch County, Tooele County, Summit County, and Morgan County on December 11th. And that one, we're still deciding if that one might be in Park City. So that's what we will do. I've asked one contact or so in each county to spread the word about these Train the Trainers. So those that we would like to attend would be
opposed to being on the next webinar?
Obviously economic development professionals, Bear outreach specialists, your Bear team members, a Chamber of Commerce staff, elected officials that are involved in economic development, any association of government staff that are involved in economic development, tourism directors, SPDC, and anybody else that needs the businesses and provides a service to them. We'd like them to come. I've got Eventbrite set up so you can register. It's free. We'll provide lunch. So if you want more information about that and you haven't received it yet, email, and I will get you that information and registration. Any questions on that? Like a good idea, bad idea? I'm going to assume that with no questions that this is the greatest idea that anyone has ever thought of, and that it will be the greatest meetings you will ever attend.
Okay.
And we're bribing you with lunch, so I think it'll be a lot of fun and should only take just the middle of your day when you're going to go to lunch anyway. So we look forward to coming to your area. Thanks, Jake. Jake's done a lot of work to coordinate all this. He's done an amazing job.
Okay.
Hey, Jake. This is Jordan. I think it'll be good for us to meet these agencies and get to know them on a personal level. I think it's a great idea.
Thanks, Jordan.
Jake, Lynn Erickson here. Where are you going to hold that in the 5-county region? At 5-county offices?
No, it's going to be in Cedar City at the Festival Hall.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you haven't got the information on that, Len, I'll send it back to you again today.
Okay, thanks, Jake. It's just about 9:30, and Dan was able to get a hold of Don Albrecht, and so what I've done here is I just did Don's email. If you have any questions about the ASAP Economic Development Planning, we are going to reschedule Don and Marion at our next webinar so that they have sufficient time to be able to explain what their service is. So,
and that will be in October. Next month.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in. Good luck with your BEAR programs, and call us or email us if you have any questions, and we'll be happy to help you. You're doing a great job. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.